Ladies and gentlemen, we are here at Iowa State Finals for Rainbow Six Siege as we got Marshalltown High School up against Waukee here for the finals for the championship. I'm Coach Cass here for MCC Casting One, joined by
member of the Rainbow Six Siege program team for Marshalltown Community College. Now, Cass, this has been a very interesting day of a lot of tight competition, and this, like you said, is for all the marbles. Like, I'm expecting this game to be really, really tight. We've seen a lot of games go like 6-8, 7-7. We've seen a lot of, we don't barely seen any blowouts today, so it's been really tight. So much competition. And honestly, this has probably been one of my favorite events I have seen in the high school. I've been here for quite a while, so I'm really excited to see how both of these teams are playing. Map 1 is Layer, which honestly, I'm a fan of it.
Not a heavily played map, but we do have them showing it off here. Bundy on the Tachanka, and I remember watching this earlier today. Their whole positioning with this Tachanka is to slow down time, try and stall out the attackers, and make sure that they can't plant between the Tachanka fire pellets that he's going to be shooting out and the smoke can. So already they're going in with their heavy strats, what they feel comfortable with. Obviously something Waukee okay taking in his first map.
Yeah, I especially like it because he's a deployable shield, and they stack the Jaegers on top of it. And literally, he can pretty much fire off almost every single part of the bomb site. Most of the time, the attacker's going to tuck in a little pillar room that's in the main master room by opening the main breach. So honestly, it's a really safe position, but it's a really powerful one. Especially because it's not really considered the quote-unquote power position on this map. Most of the time, it's going to be that mezzanine hallway or that sky bridge.
So we can see the attackers, Marshalltown High School, going up to the roof. They're going to probably try and breach that outside catwalk wall right down there.
Yeah, which that honestly is kind of a toughie, especially if you don't have any range hard breach. Because you can have the two skylight windows. You can have a player just easily peek onto the hard breach. But luckily, they do bring the ace and the thermite. So a lot of security on going to open up the wall. They have the Thatcher as well, and a buck below just in case you want to hear it. They don't even have any wall denial on the side of Waukee, so they can save those EMPs for other parts of.
There's Thermite placing down his gadget, going to breach that wall open. They have to be careful, and they are mindful that someone could flank the sky bridge at any point in time. The side of the defenders, it looks like that they're going to just be hunkering down, playing their strategy as they know that they don't have to make the first move as the defenders. They're waiting, hoping, or not even hoping, really expecting that their strategy is going to come out on top here.
Now, with a minute 40 left to go in the round, it's interesting that they haven't really made much progress entering into the build. They've been taking their time, running everything out, as the ace is starting to walk up into Skybridge, but the Smoke and Legion are going to contest this. Now, that's really good for Waukee because they're defending the stairs. Watching Greasy's back, which on the Smoke, placing Tyler now is crucial for the side of Waukee because they did not want to have the attackers walk into that hallway.
Now that we have operations control underway, they're going to start collapsing on this Waukee defense. They have all the puzzle pieces in place. Now they've just got to come up with their execute plan.
Interesting to see that we are 1 minute left to go in the round, and it's still a 5v5. All 10 players are still alive in the server. Most of the games I've seen today mainly come from first minute, but Clippy gets the first pick of this championship game on the Tyrone. With 45 seconds left, Thunny getting down to 1 HP from the buck in below. That's a super smart strategy to clear out that position. He's using the buck below because then they can't play there safely. 35 seconds left to go. It's still a 5v4. Tachanka still at 1 HP, still has a lot of value with those fires. Smoke using one of his last smoke grenades. 30 seconds left on the clock. They really have to be desperate. Those trades, getting space. They're going to start walking in the site here. They'll be going down to 1 HP as well. The ace charge misses the shield. 15 seconds left. They have to just go for it. The diffuser is down. Thermite is down. It's still a 5v4.
Great my aim, walking into sight. Gonna have to flood deep, but Apology is there to trade him off. Glurpy getting a second. 5v2 now as it's just Jesua walking in. Take the first. They get the second one. Plant going down at the buzzer beater. This is going to be close. Trying to hold it off, but now it's all up to Jix. He's got to get the plant down and get his gun up.
He gets one. He does not get the second. Apology with the triple. And Waukee will walk away with the first round and a very chaotic end to this first round of the championship game. Honestly, that's one of the closest rounds I have seen all day, and I am just astonished at how well these players have played on both sides.
Not only did they plan out their attack till the last end, they knew they had some tough lineups to deal with when they're dealing with the Tachanka. They're dealing with those smoke canisters, but still able to get into the building, make some gunfights happen, trades going out. That's one thing I've always been really interested to see lately with these high school players. They're trading each other off, kill for kill for kill. When something happens, it all happens at once.
Yeah, I'm sure if I kept making tally marks of how many trades I've seen today, I probably wouldn't be able to fill up the chalkboard. There have been so many trades today. But it's interesting because historically, most of these games have kind of been lopsided onto the defense. So honestly, it's interesting to see that the attack is getting closer and closer to going into 2-1 gunfights, and they actually work for the plant in most situations. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to go for the plant and make that their win.
And now moving on to round 2, Waukee gonna go down to the bottom floor here, and usually this is played with a lot of control over here for missile. They try and play close with the shotgun. They have some intel with a bulletproof in the hallway. Long way. There you can see the camera on the wall there. That just helps Apology, who's going to be sitting there with the shotgun and mute jammer. Just know when to swing. Have some intel to play off of. They have the Valkyrie cameras being thrown around. They're going to have tons of intel and just make decisive plays. But we do have Glurpy, who's on the roam as the Solus.
Now, Solus getting a buff recently, honestly, it's kind of shifted the meta kind of back to where it was like 2 years ago when Solus was really impressive when it came to the roam game, because I've seen a lot of rounds the attack has little drones. I kind of question why, but then you forget they have a Solus. And especially going back to your point about that mute shotgun, you have a Fenrir, so honestly, it's going to be a really easy take for him to take close with the shotgun, wait for the Fenrir to go off, and then just swing the guy. A glass on the side of Marshalltown. I'm not what their intention is, but they do have a lot of smoke grenades due to bringing the glass, bringing the twitch. Potentially, almost everybody having smoke grenades. They might just be, bombarding the site with a ton of smokes and telling the glass as they're executing.
Now they're gathering all this information with these drones, and they're trying to get a good idea as to what they're going to be walking in before they make any decisive actions. First smoke canister going out. I'm assuming the glass is going to swing right into it and play with this as to his advantage. That thermal ability of his really giving him a high advantage for gunfights.
Now, something to note, they're pretty much almost in bomb site, which is a vast comparison, as Greasy gets the first kill. It's a vast comparison to how the previous round started, where they weren't getting into the building until like a minute 10 left, a minute left on the clock, only reaching site with less than a minute to go. So they're making space really fast.
But with that man disadvantage now, Marshalltown slowing down even more. Waukee understanding this, and Clippy gets another pick. Now it's a 5v3.
Although the Bear Knight gets a beautiful pick on Ray My aim getting Clippy. Now, Glass has control of one of the bomb sites, and honestly, that's interesting though, because they're going for the plant right on the door frame. That's kind of an odd choice to do, but honestly, when you're getting down to the wire, it really doesn't matter as long as you get it. Apology goes down. It's back to that parity now. It's now down to a 2v3 in favor of Marshalltown.
Marshalltown holding down diffuser in post-plant position. They just have to play the clock here now. It's Waukee who have to be the attackers and get up on this bomb site.
Really, Waukee cannot play passive. They have to play for trades. They have to play aggressively. Tyrone Johnson gets the second kill on the Thundy, and then he gets a third on the Glurpy, and that is Marshalltown's first round. The books.
Well played overall. I mean, they only took the minimal amount of map control that they needed and still got the job done.
Absolutely. Now, it looks like they're going to go back to the bomb site, same bomb site yet again, bringing a very similar lineup, bringing the Jaeger, bringing the Fenrir. They're actually picking up a Melusa, which I don't believe they have in the round. And
I'm going to bring back the Solus.
Actually, yeah. I mean, honestly, as a wise man once said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Because honestly, it wasn't really, coming down to how bad the strat was. It just came down to additions that Marshalltown brought. They brought a lot of smoke grenades. They pushed site really aggressively. Did not waste time. If they saw an open space, they just took it and filled that gap.
but it wasn't done recklessly. It seems that Marshalltown is planning out their steps. They're droning out. They're calling out what they can do with what they're seeing. They're scanning for any kind of utility that they might be up against, and then they go together.
Yep, I mean that's what makes a good team great. Is it's that momentum, it's that tempo, that really makes a round like think they were kind of slow in the first round, but they just took space really, really fast, which is interesting to see a dynamic tempo. Because a lot of these teams sometimes do the same thing over and over again, and then the defense just counteracts it. That makes Siege interesting, and then the counter strats, what the issues were in that previous.
Now, see Tyrone actually taking the head off of one of his own teammates. It must have been an accident there trying to shoot open a barricade, but that's going to put them in an early disadvantage. 2 minutes, 30 seconds left on the clock, and it's already a 4v5.
I don't know. I've had my fair share of actually and just trying to him.
We've all been there, done that. Now, Waukee, knowing that they have man advantage early on, they're going to just stay on their drones, but this Bravo is going to get a ton of value just hacking cans, but got EMP'd in the process. That drone's going to be dead in the water for a little bit, potentially shot away.
It's interesting that maybe it's been the solos on the roam. It's interesting to see that a lot of these teams have, one primary roamer. And most high-level comps, you have, like, maybe even two. But most of the time, the kind of roam, they have a couple reinforcements up. They have a couple rotate. But honestly, though, the Solus is so self-sufficient that it's not even going to be an issue right now. They can get an easy flank, scan out a couple drones. Oh, there's no drones or no air jab. And then you flank.
The Glad's going to do the same thing that they did last round. They're going to just try and work that initial part. This Fenrir choke point is going to be very difficult to deal with. Because on the other side of that, you've got Apology on the shotgun. Sitting close range, that's a one-shot shotgun range.
Oh, easily. Honestly, probably one of my favorite shotguns in the game to use. Honestly, even one of my favorite guns in general to use. It just does so much. It is basically a sniper rifle. It left down into the round. Interesting though that they kind of stalled out though on the side of Marshalltown. Like the Goyos of Waukee have kind of just stalled out their push. They have two players up top on the first floor. As Apology with that shotgun defense before gets one, but Tyrone immediately gets the trade. Who increasing through the floor gets right by aim. It's a 4v2 situation in the favor of Waukee. Now they can just play a bit more passive, play a bit more based on utility. Have the defense to work with. A couple of Goyo fires to work with. They can literally just stay together, play time, and play cross angles. Have to get it.
Well, I mean, with this vertical presence alone, it's already enough damage to really slow down anything that they had going for them. They really did not expect this. Out of all the droning, they never looked up.
15 seconds left on the clock. They're going to stick with the plane, but no, immediately gets dominated by Greasy in that Chris Vector weapon. That's so powerful. Tyrone Johnson left in a 1v4, has to pick up 4, but with 2 seconds left, pretty much all she wrote for this round. Waukee get their second.
Waukee coming back to the same bomb site. They knew what went wrong, and they knew how to fix it.
Yep.
They came in with a plan, just saying, no, we're not just going to do it just to do the same thing. We're going to make some iterations. We're going to make some changes.
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that they kind of rotate around their strategy, go for like potential top down or even just vertical take. Because, that's what Waukee did. They abused the fact that nobody on the first floor. So vertical is pretty much interesting to use the glass band because that leaves an opportunity for a lot more impressive operators, such as the Montaigne with packs. That's going to be interesting to see, especially because they're going back on this or bomb site with that Tachanka, with Jaeger. Pretty much the exact same lineup as before. Honestly, it's not too detrimental strategy.
Well, not only that, this is one of the few times that we have seen Ace make it through all the band phases. And he's not being used. One of the quote-unquote best hard breachers there is currently.
I think right here, aim just ate your words because guess what? I'm playing Ace now.
He's swapping over.
And that makes me very happy because I never get to play Ace.
Highly banned operator. I think Waukee has a strategy as to who they're trying to ban rather than what.
I definitely agree that a lot of these teams I have noticed, they're kind of going the off-meta bans because I think there's been a lot of VOD reviews watch back the match replays as a team and decide, hey, what are the issues that we're facing? And historically, that's kind of not really been a thing. It's mostly just like who's the most operator at the time. So it's interesting to see band system more dynamic based on.
These high schoolers may or not be doing their own homework, but you know they're going to be doing their siege homework.
Yep. I know I've definitely done that. As Tyrone gets a very early opening kill on the Glurp. Not sure where exactly he was pushing from. Might have been trying to peek those skylight windows. It's still a very risky play, but I mean, with the ace and thermite, it's honestly going to be a call. You know, no hard breach bans, no Cade ban, no bandit ban. I'm surprised that Waukee just lets them have the wall for free. That's another pressure point that Marshalltown can.
Now that they have this main breach open, you know, they're heavily relying on this Tachanka, but then they also have the Valkyrie down below. Nitro in pocket, ready to blow up anyone walking into sight.
Yeah, this is going to be a really...
The drone spots out the Valkyrie, though. They know that this is a thing. Now they got to come up with a plan as to how are we going to deal with this. It looks like Rate My Aim is coming on down to hunt it.
It looks like they have two players in... Oh, man. Clippy getting down. That's their DMR down, so they can't really pull these long angles, but the Tachanka fires are very, very effective. Slowing down Marshalltown's push, because Tachanka, I've counted the numbers, and he has pretty much almost 2 whole minutes of denial, but interesting to see the Buck has a defender instead of Monty of Pax. The 5v3. Ooh, right, my aim goes down by Greasy. A beautiful lurk by the Valkyrie.
Getting hunted by 2 separate players down here, still managing to find a pick and has the vertical location in order to try and prevent this plant. But again, the Buck has the diffuser and he's downstairs hunting the Valkyrie. If he loses this gunfight, this could be huge.
Oh, he's not looking the right way. Oh!
Greasy takes him out for free. Has diffuser down
That's
below.
monumental right there. I think now their entire strategy is going for kills. I think they're just going to try to, focus kills. Like, that's the interesting thing about Siege is that your win condition can flop on a dime and saying, hey, we need to go for defense. We're just going to go for kills, but it looks like all 3 Waukee players have rotated onto the first floor. They're going to play the objective.
And they've given up the bomb site entirely. They understand, hey, we have diffuser in a winning position. 30 seconds left on the clock. They can win this out. They can close it, but Joshua has something else to say.
A beautiful pre-fire from that LMG. You can just spray and pray all day. Greasy kind of working out the green part right now. 15 seconds left to go. They're kind of
rotating back
upstairs. There's little time left. They don't have to play aggressive on this.
Now they can play this shield. They're back in sight. They have the utility they need. Now all they have to do is play the time.
Marshalltown is still down below, looking for nothing but ghosts. Beautiful calls from their IGL. Making you say, hey, rotate down to the objective. Low time, you rotate right back where you came from.
It just seemed like Waukee had the read one step faster than Marshalltown realized. The moment they realized we lost the diffuser downstairs and they finally react to it, Waukee was already down there holding it. The moment they realized, oh, they ran back upstairs to hold bomb site now, time's out.
Yeah, it looks like Pax is going to, pick up the diffuser on the Monty saying, hey, let's not make that mistake again. But that's so crucial that sometimes, depending on deciding who gets the bomb, monumental winning or losing the round, as exemplified in that last round. Now, Waukee's going for the first floor bunks. Honestly, one of my favorite bomb sites on this map because they're vertical. Upstairs in R6 room, you can play in storage, and you can pretty much hold a lot of map control. The map is huge. There's so little map control that you only have that vertical presence. So that's really bringing 3 shotguns with both the Warden and the Smoke. They'll have no issue getting all those vertical holds, those power positions.
Not only that, they're bringing the Bandit to try and prevent these walls from being... They're going to be holding down with this vertical presence of mind. And they're even using their utility like barbed wire to protect the upstairs. They understand that this is their win condition.
They're also providing the shield on the Warden. Interesting though, they don't have any... I would have been... But honestly, it makes sense that for Marshalltown to use utility on spots that isn't the bomb site. That's going to be really interesting to see, realizing how much utility upstairs compared to the...
Now, Marshalltown looking to flood into sight here through this one window by the appearance of it right now. Starting to rotate over, get that main wall. I think they want to do a direct push, but we'll see how that works out when they have shotguns glaring down from up above.
Yeah, it's especially interesting because, you know, if you overlook the vertical, you're not going to get punished by it because, hey, defense knows how the vertical works, know where the doorways are, know where the default plant is. So it makes it really hard to actually go for a direct take. Body's upstairs, already staring down right at you, right in hell above. Especially when you have a Solus on the board and a Warden. Even if they try to do a smoke, you know, Warden can, you know, use his goggles to see smoke, look for the planter, and the Solus can use her scanner as she does to find the diffuser.
They have some information as to where Marshalltown is pushing from, and they do have the hatches open above them. And this is a rough spot to be, and Greasy getting the first pick of the round.
Beautiful shot from that SMG in hand. Minute 20 left in the round. Honestly, Marshalltown, besides opening the ball, they haven't really made much presence known on the map. They push out the smoke, but I think Thunder's probably going to be rotating around to look for that smoke and counter that with his lens goggles as Greasy gets a second kill. Minute 5 left to go in the round.
Seems like Marshalltown just doesn't have a good answer for how to attack this. They had an idea with like just opening wall while walking in plant. Nothing will stop us with this Monty, but that just is not the case with these vertical angles.
Especially because, you know, they're really stalling out, and heck, they're not. Waukee isn't even using utility. It's just positioning of where the bomb is, and the Monty goes down, and a C4 from above goes packs on that shield, and that's diffuser down. Oh, they're gonna bomb rush right into sight, but the smoke kills Iahsea from Greasy. Now, interesting to see a smoke kill. Those don't happen very often. Most people are gonna back out, but with 20 seconds left to go, kind of just gotta force it.
15 seconds left on the clock. This could just be another round that Waukee is walking away, but this one's flawless.
With Greasy with a 4K on the round, that just goes to show how versatile Smoke can either be an anchor player or above. You know, he has so much presence with that shotgun in hand.
Now, we know that this is most likely a Waukee pick for a map.
Absolutely.
This is one of their comforts. They have a lot of good strats that they understand pretty well. And it's a newer map. Blair hasn't been out for all that long, especially in the competitive scene. So for this level of play means that you're comfortable. You went out of your way to learn this.
Instead of just Clubhouse 39 times. Which, I mean, honestly, no hate to Clubhouse, but honestly, sometimes it just feels like you're watching the same. But honestly, yeah, it really is interesting, especially because Blair is probably one of the more banned maps. So it's interesting that it actually made its way to the phase. But, I mean, making it map 1 makes sense because then there's not many bans left on the board. So, like, Skyscraper or, like, Bank might be banned, but Lair takes its place as a map pick. So, I'm definitely, you know, enjoying the fact that we're actually getting actual good gameplay on this map because it seems like, I don't want to learn this map. I'm just going to not like it. Unfortunately, that's just the rank mentality. But coming into the action phase, Marshalltown might be strategy a little, bringing the Blackbeard and the Montaigne. Joshua on the Thermite, and Tyrone's sticking with the Brava. Curious that he's stuck on the Brava almost every, but makes sense though. You have the Mute Jammers, you have those Maluk Banshees that you can act, which makes it really hard for the defenders to fly around, especially because they're going to be towards the bomb site. So come late round, the Banshees could actually like work again.
Burpee does not realize that just on the other side of that window, there's plenty of players to stare at.
Now, I do like that Apology and Thundy for running both SS Operator and the Mute Jammers, running the Smoke yet again. They've gotten a lot of value out of both operators, but jamming all those drones, jamming the intel game. Smoke, you know, using especially on top of the Goya of Greasy, who just got down from Jericho on the Thermite. 2 minutes left to go. That's a relatively early pick in the round, given the fact that we've seen most of these kills happening in the last round.
Thermite charge, trying to go down on a soft wall, and Rate My Aim's like, all right, let's not try that again. Shoot it open.
I mean, hey, come next season, Thermite will have a pocket shot. In the moment, minute 40 left to go in the round. Looks like the Blackbeard take last space. Ooh. Tense fight. And Pax is going to pressure this guy off of the stairs of Glurpy. just pressuring him above, not even peeking him. That's just how goes to show how impressive Monty. Most Monty players, are just standing in a corner doing nothing while the team dies around him. But that's passive, but knows when to play aggressive. Force the defenders off of their position. As Thundy with that shotgun yet again picks up Jix.
Got Iahsea kind of going on the backside here, away from his team. I don't know if anyone from Waukee understands that this is coming this way.
Left to go in the round. It's a 4v4, but or he could potentially go for a blank if he wanted to. Just all alone by his lone thumb. Axe with the diffuser. It's interesting just how they applies axe with the diffuser. Kind of running low on the utility count.
And now with this vertical presence as well, Blurpy's getting so much.
Beautiful shot from Flippy on Break My Aim.
They know the Monty is in, but he's stuck in a corner and they can't really defuse there, so they got to figure something else out to do.
20 seconds left to go. Marshalltown in the or die situation round. They want to end with at least a second attack round on their half. A lot of damage with the diffuser. He might go for the play. He's gonna stick for the play with 8 seconds left to go. In a 4v2, that might be the best fact to do. C4 misses and bomb does not go down with 0 seconds left to go in the clock. Tyron Dunst gets 1. But it does not matter as Waukee go on the 5-1 defensive half.
What a defensive half that was. The utility, the way that they always played around it, they adapted to whatever Marshalltown was doing. But Marshalltown kind of clumping up and just balling their way into whatever came into it. Waukee just had the utility to deal with it.
And their defense is better than a lot of the ranks in it.
Now that we're on the other half here, Marshalltown gets to try their hand at their defense and see what they've got up their sleeve.
Yeah, because honestly, even if they're down 1-5, I would not count them out. You've seen them before. They are gritty. In their last match against West Delaware, they played 2 maps in full overtime. That's 30 rounds combined, and that's like over 2 hours. 2 maps. So honestly, I would not count them out of this.
As we're getting ready to start this first round of the defensive half for Marshalltown, I don't see as much utility as I do. Oh, that back. They still have the Bandit, the Smoke, the Fenrir's a different choice of utility, but still provides a lot of value. And Iahsea on the Azami. I'm curious to see doing.
I'm wondering if he's put an operation hold. I think. Honestly, I'm just kind of glad that Fenrir has been brought back into the since the new ban system next, because in previous years, especially at the high school level, he got banned a lot in the old banning system. He had to ban 4 ops for the entire game instead of at each half. So, I'm interested to see the different dynamics in play comparing last season. Coming into the action phase, Slurpee on the sense and Sunday with a blade. Now, I'm wondering if they're just going to kind of go for more an aggressive take, cut off those angles sense wall, forcing players out of position with hits. With the Deimos and Green, not when it our position, such as where Iahsea is on that top mezzanine hallway.
With all these drones coming out for operations, they're going to know where Iahsea is. They're going to have some intel as to what kind of setup they're walking into. Should not be just an easy take, but he is all by himself. None of his team is here to support him.
Especially because most of the time, on operation, a lot of people can, just fly up the mezzanine stairs and kind of just trap that guy. Especially if you don't have a mezzanine player to support the operation. Holding his own little fort, but honestly though, Azami is very self-sufficient. Fenrir will actually back him up for a potential refrag. Down below. Still outside, but looks like the Deimos is below. He might go for the track onto Iahsea. Iahsea does have a tape route, just walking back into. Let's go off though, Slurpee, but he does back off. He does have a diffuser. Oh, back grenades to deal with those. There's no Wamai. There's no Jaeger. They take out these zombies with grenades.
You have Greasy down below on the Deimos. I wonder if he's going to start tracking this Azami and Fenrir, because he does have vertical that he could use to his advantage.
Especially because nobody's down below. He can take all that space for to track people through the floor. It looks like their apology is going to be on that display window. I just power rush that position once the other team is in position. Slurpee does rearrange himself around to the R6 side. It looks like they're going for a mid-round rotation instead of going for that mat squall. They're saying, hey, you saw me is something we don't have to deal with.
But the Grimby's coming out. That's the last smoke canister. They can wait it out. They still have time. And now that they've opened up the wall with Clippy opening that hard breach wall, they're getting a lot more pressure onto site.
45 seconds left. Honestly, if Marshalltown just doesn't get jittery, actually, he's often plays against for the mile. Like, I'm not sure though. I don't believe Smoke has any more gas canisters. As Tyrone gets a Blurby. Oh, almost does not get a second. He gets the shield. He gets knocked back, and Thundy with a beautiful shot with that pistol. Rayma Aang gets one. Apology with his own. The 3v2 now with bomb going down. It's a 3v1. Clippy all on his lonesome against Pax and Jeshua. Jeshua and Pax have to play off of each other and swing at the same time.
Post-plant situation. This is definitely winnable, but Pax just gonna win that gunfight.
Beautiful collapse. Pax swinging from the server, and Jeshua is really close to that floor, so even if the Thermite went gunfight on these coming, most likely would not have won that half around. Really good communication, really good coordination from both of those players.
And honestly, I mean, that was Pac's first kill of the game, but it won them an entire round. That's half their rounds winning.
That shows that even if somebody is negative, those that they're gonna get are probably gonna be the most important. There's been games that I personally have gone really bad, like 4 and 12, but think those that I can get are like, or they're hard breach, or they're operator. So it doesn't really matter how many kills you get, unless if you get. Like Waukee's gonna go for an interesting strat. Still picking up the Monty in the black. Actually going for a black instead of a blitz. Interesting to do double shield. A lot of shield today, but mainly it's just that like one dedicated player. Like I was watching, I believe it was Benton. They had Ace of Spades. He was loaded a full shield main. There would be teams that would ban 3 shields, but he would up the
10 seconds
very
remaining.
much. But Waukee actually swapping off of the Blackbeard onto a Zofia.
5 seconds left before
They might just do more of kind of a standard take, ball.
Attackers' objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
With this, I mean, we're into the action phase now. They're really using these shields as just a way to walk in, get some map control, have an understanding of what's in front of them, and then communicate that back to their team as to how they can make something happen.
Especially like Jeshua on the castle, because on a first floor bomb site, there's a lot Castle can, with his super shorty, with his proximity alarms, especially because it forces Waukee, and especially because it's time to now, because they might have little utility, which they only really had the Zofia to clear out those positions. But if they can use those castles to their advantage, they can put on the push.
Now that they have the top 4 wall opened up, this castle's going to come in a little more clutch right now, as Dix is kind of like wrapped off. If that door becomes open, he's got nowhere to go.
Yeah, especially because I think the actually they don't even have any heartbeats besides the thermite charge. They don't have much. Have 2 flashbangs, 2 sets of smokes, 4 claymores. Which I mean, honestly, that for this kind of a take, figure out all these castles, figure out those roamers, figure out the positions. It's because they don't have anything to clear out the fenders as well. Half the face check.
Now that we see them rotating back up, they're trying to open up all these castles, but they have to melee them, like, what, 8 times?
Yeah, 8, 9 times, and 0.5. A lot of time waste. Has the 2 attacks, which he has to use wisely. With a minute 20 left on the clock, they're making a lot of pressure inside of Marshalltown, forcing Waukee out of their positions, which, honestly, it looks like, the top floor is the bomb side, not even the first.
Still not even getting vertical control yet with a minute left. Time is really ticking here. They got to start making some moves.
Minute left to go. They spot the fender, but they can do. I think they can walk into a crossfire, and this Monty can potentially be shot in the back. But Thundy just standing in as a human shield, but he does get the kill, which was a very good trade. Clippy with a second. They're kind of being explosive on the top floor, but think it's not even the bomb site. They still have 2 nitro cells in pocket with Pax and Tyrone. But they can get some easy kills through the floor if they are careful.
Oh,
But it gets destroyed by the Ram drone.
those darn Roombas sucking everything up.
Ooh.
But now the Monties drop the hatch. They have all the vertical that they need. This is Waukee kind of just walking it down. Time be damned.
1v5, minute left to go, or 15 seconds to go.
Omar with a
Plant.
big kill. Gotta find 4 more. Plant going down. Not the best long range angle for that shotgun. And Greasy gonna close it out.
Ooh. And I believe that does put us on match point for first map. 6-2 with Greasy at the 11-3 stat line, being very consistent and getting his opening engagement. But interesting to note that a lot of these teams have had a lot of consistent stat lines. That just goes to show that mechanically they are pretty similar in skill gap, but it down to the maps. I know this map really well, which Waukee clearly do. That really shows the difference between how they're going to perform map to map.
Attackers need to
Now with
locate and
Waukee
defuse bombs.
1 round away from closing out this map, it puts Marshalltown back on the back foot now. Every decision you make is a life or death for this first map.
Yeah, though I'm kind of a man of mischief. I think Marshalltown is going to put it to 6-6. That is my take. I'm going to just say it now. I think they're going to go 6-6. We've seen a few comebacks today and yesterday. I do not take it out of the realm of possibility in this match, especially because these two teams are the greatest in the state as of this year. They are the greatest teams, so they should know that they are capable of a lot.
Now, Capcan on the roam up here, gonna place down these little explosive devices. You walk through them without shooting them, they're gonna not have
They're
it.
gonna knock your socks off. Now I wonder, there's that gas pipe in medical door. I wonder if that Capcan trap was close enough to actually explode the pipe, because I just have to use the pipe and the Capcan trap, and that's an instant kill. To the action phase now. Running the sense again. I've noticed that Waukee honestly kind of sent their main lineup for a lot of their strategies, which immediately shut down by Jix on the roam with the Capcan. Lurkin Russian gets the first kill of the round and returns back to the bomb site where it's all safe.
This does leave the Ram upstairs uncontested to take as much vertical as they want. The little pesky Roombas eating away at those floorboards.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that in my house. Now, apology on the Twitch. Honestly, that's a really good pick, especially because they have the meat jammers, have those Capcan traps. They can destroy a lot of utility with them. They get a lot of roam vertical presence with the Ram. Now, it's interesting to see that they don't have much in terms of utility. They have flashbangs and 4 smokes, 1 hard breach. It's curious to know how much utility they can dump onto the bomb site with 1:35 left in the round.
Monty just gonna start face checking because they have to make something work. Now they're getting some intel as to where some of the players are. And with the Ram up above, this is a lot of vertical presence for the side of Waukee.
Yeah, especially because Marshalltown isn't an opportunity to link up the yellow stairs around warehouse side, because I don't think there's much in terms of drone use on the side of Waukee. A Marshalltown player, especially kind of in a lurker, honestly just walk up the stairs and go for a pesky kill on that ramp, but they're just kind of going to play cross angles, playing off of each other, which isn't the worst thing to do with less than a minute left to go in the round.
Burpee using those B canisters to his advantage, trying to get something going, but Apology's the one with the pick. The plant is going down with the Monty. Is there anything that can be done to stop this? Doesn't appear so.
And especially with that vertical coverage, that's their insurance player. That's their what we call the Geico player, because he's standing above. And there was nobody to retest the vertical. The 35 seconds left on the defuse clock. They have to play aggressive. They have to go for the... They see the bullet tracers of Apology, but he gets the free kill on a Tyrone, switching to the shotgun. Unfortunate timing for him. You see, Joshua is stuck in lab. In 1v4 situation, it is on all him, on the line for the first map round. Keep his team alive.
12 seconds left. Joshua has to make a play, and he has to make it now, but he's nowhere even near the diffuser. This is going to be map point completed for Waukee. So, I mean, really, we just saw a lot of good utility plays on the defense from Waukee, moved into their attacks where they lay out what they need in order to plant the bomb
Yeah.
and succeed.
And especially even with how low utility some rounds they brought, like especially that top floor or that first floor round where they struggled opening the castles. They just pushed on through. They used the Monty to their advantage to push out positions to get free kills. So it's very impressive, especially on Lair, a map that probably not many teams know, but Waukee, that made it look like a walk in the park. But hopefully the next map will be Marshalltown's pick, and I think it'll be a lot closer. You know, more of the common maps, such as Night Haven Labs, potentially. God forbid Clubhouse, but you never know. We'll find out here shortly.
We'll be right back. And we are back for map 2, Marshalltown versus Waukee for the state championship. A shot at it all. And we've already seen that Waukee destroying it on Lair. Does Marshalltown come back into this fight?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Night Haven Labs, as you and I discussed off stream, it honestly does play similar to Lair. It's utility based, but honestly, I kind of see it a little bit kind of like a clubhouse Lair hybrid where a lot of wall denial is important in walls like the Maverick piece, especially because our breaches are so important. A lot of games I've seen played, even in the Pro League level, are usually just like, triple hard breach ban out the Cade, ban out the Bandit, but looks like they're going to go for a mirror ban on the side of Waukee and a ram ban on the side of Marshalltown. Now, honestly, both of those are very valid picks. Banning the Azami and the Monty out. The Monty was huge for Waukee in the last game. It's going to be really interesting to see how they play with different. Potentially pull out the Blackbeard or the Blitz, but like I've seen so much Monty today, it's kind of making me cry a little bit.
I mean, if you can't beat them, join them.
Exactly. Now, Marshalltown starting on the defense. Kind of a standard lineup here. We got the Jaeger, we got Bandit, Mute, Fenrir, and Castle. Because they're the default bomb site. Because the Azami band, I'm wondering if they're going to kind of more lock down the warehouse position. Similar to Clubhouse, you use Azami barriers, kind of, log yourself off and build yourself a level 4. Makes it hard for attackers to without dumping utility on top of you. A lot of utility as well as time.
10 seconds remaining.
See a pretty standard setup. Everyone's still in the bomb site area. No crazy extensions or roams at all so far.
Locate and defuse a bomb.
Now we get to see where Waukee decides to attack. Looks like they're doing a bit of a split push. They have 2 coming up from the park side over here up the staircase. Potentially going to look for this connector wall to open up.
It looks like they brought this. Ooh, a beautiful C4 as the first pick of the round. Flippy, good night. He got immediately destroyed off of that rip. Now, what Joshua did was did the C4 through the electrical window that was open, and it goes onto the staircase. That's the done as well as their hard breach. But they do have a couple hard breach charges in pocket. But opening main vault with a not hard to do. But I was about to mention before, they had a Zofia on the board, so they could potentially do the Zofia trick double impact the Bandit, and that kills the Bandit player. Looks like they're going to get a trade back, making it a 4v4 with 2 left on the clock. Now, it's interesting to see they castled off the top blue stairs, which honestly makes a lot of sense, though, because, a lot of attackers are up there in the because, a lot of teams, they're just going to put head holes or feet holes there. I'm going to leave it to be, but honestly, making the castle barricade there makes it more sense because a lot of big sound cues off of it. Break, and Tyrone pre-fires that angle, anticipating somebody.
Oh, and the castle seeing someone down below, putting some shots down onto Thundy through the floorboards. Definitely not something he was expecting.
Now, minute 20 left in the round. I don't think Waukee has really opened up any. Especially leaving that ace, getting C around. They do start to make some verticals, so that's a lot of good pressure. There's so much verticality on this bomb site. Ooh.
Or be in a great position to find a pick here. He just saw one around the pillar, but can't quite see him, and now he's spotted out. So now everyone should be aware of his position. And Tyrone Johnson smacking him down. See some more angles through the floor. Greasy getting a pick.
Kill on the floor. Starting to make some more vertical with 45 seconds left. Honestly, I'm not opposed to this as Joshua gets down from the Nomad on top rafters. I'm surprised they didn't reinforce that wall up because most of the time you want to reinforce it up.
Do you not know where he is? He's right next to you. Oh my goodness, what could have been so much disaster right there. Plays out in parity now. 2v2 as Joshua is down.
Tyrone
is revivable.
Tyrone impacts with the 2 Germans as one of them comes down. Thundy with his first kill of the round. Tyrone all on his shoulders as his paint is going to probably bleed out. Greasy is covering the plant as Thundy goes for the cross. He's sprinting across, almost across into the line of fire. But Apology does end up finishing him from the grave. Ooh, this is great play by the Buck here. He's going to play down below. He's going to just anticipate him going for the defuse and then shotgun him through the floorboards.
Reads it like a book and drops down with him, but He's not directly below the bomb site at all. He's actually off to the side, creating a weird little angle.
Because it makes it a lot harder for the defenders because angles do kind of work in odd ways, mainly on vertical, but horizontal angles pretty much just
11,
work both ways.
10. Gotta start defusing by 7. I think he's out of time.
And Greasy from below will pick up the last kill. Now that was a beautiful play of Buck. Most Buck players don't really play verticality like that, so it's really good to see a player knowing where the common angles are from below, anticipating where they're going to be, creating that pressure. Even if he doesn't get a kill through the floorboards, he a lot of value because make the defenders, almost playing whack-a-mole.
I mean, with how little time they had on the clock for the presence they had all below with that vertical presence being made, they still made it work. They still got the diffuser down in the last seconds of the round and were able to close it out.
Honestly, that was really just was amazing to watch overall, especially because most attacking rounds almost seem like they're lost when they're down 2 minutes are down and they make it known. There's a lot more confidence on the side of the attack.
Both these walls being reinforced for the main site there into connector. A bit of a different choice than we normally would
10
see.
seconds to
Yeah,
go. multiple
most teams tend to make head holes. You have multiple. A lot of teams like to end
5
into
seconds.
meeting and kind of peel their way back as the round progresses. Some teams reinforce it off in the late round if they have one in pocket, but they have 2 available, so they can potentially reconnect their warehouse wall. They have a player in there that launches that space up round. That they're bringing the 0. Glurpy bringing the 0 once again. 0 is kind of an opera that's kind of a staple of the high school that a lot of team value in. Honestly, I don't mind, but I think how different the drone economy is. But honestly, the retail game is kind of strong on the side of Waukee. They have the Dokubi to stack on top of that phone calls, and if a defender dies, she can pick up the phone and actually get.
Now, Jix, knowing that they're rotating all around him, able to get a pick and stay alive. This is a big play, but now he's kind of trapped in a corner. Thundy and Greasy know that he's got to be somewhere in kitchen, and they're going to try and do something about it.
And she might try to pinch him off, but it doesn't look like he's been contested. Oh, one in the kitchen might catch him off guard. Gets on the hop up and a beautiful headshot from Greasy on the C8.
Apology getting a pick of his own, meaning that this is now in advantage for Marshall or for Waukee.
Luke is going to try to find a phone, which they do eventually find one on the first floor. There's now a 4v3 Glippery on the camp, excuse me. To actually provide a lot more intel now that he's dead on the camp. C4 goes out, but does not connect. That's here. One of those 2 C4s, but through the floor, Greasy gets shut down. A beautiful shot from that SMG-11 in the hands of Jeshua. Beautiful play from above. Now, that's a great punish though, because that's what won them the round in the last round. Writing that down, left to go in the round is going to back.
And Undy looking down towards the basement, not entirely sure why, now starting to make the rotate back up. But they don't really have any site control whatsoever. They still have to deal with these players ratting in IT.
Looks like they're going to have to just force Raptors and open up that Raptors wall up in a little bit of trigger discipline and let them walk on through. Hit him, well, they're shooting the back. Flippy with a beautiful long angle. That 416. 25 seconds left in the round. But goes for the whips a Nomad. Stay alive and potentially just waste their time. Looks like the Thundy is gonna go on the CC blue door. Algie gets a second, gets a third!
Tyrone all alone.
Up to Omar. 7 seconds left, does not. He gets the 4th of apology. He gives no apologies for how many kills he's gotten in this round. Beautiful Nomad work from him.
I mean, they had no right winning that round. And if Jesua was just a little bit more patient, waited until someone walked in IT, it would have been a much easier shot. Would have got the pick. 3v1, been really difficult. Instead, he gives away his position. Apology turns around and just mechanically outskills him.
Especially cross angles on that ID.
Defenders
A
protect
lot of
your
teams
bombs
in
from
higher
being
pro
defused by
levels, not
attackers.
even like pro, even like they know how important the cross angle on IT is. Pull it from the bomb chest, pull it from. There are secure positions. Even if the goat could be ran in from top blue, he has to face the feet. That's an unfair fight for him. So it's interesting how Marshalltown kind of got a bit too jittery, a bit too that 3v2. But going down to the basement, honestly, kind of the more turtle strat sites on this map, but there are a lot of that Greece use with
10 seconds left before
someone who
insertion.
know this map only by hand.
5 seconds to insertion.
Now moving on to round 3.
Attackers are
Let's
moving
see
out
if
to locate a bomb.
Marshalltown finds any more luck down in this basement site. Gotta change some things up here. Obviously, they understand that when they're letting Waukee set up what they want to for their attacks, they can run it down slowly. They don't have to rush in their face. They formulate a plan and execute it the way they want. So with that in mind, what kind of tempo change are they going to do to try and make the game theirs?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that on the side of Marshalltown, they're giving up so much map, which here on the top floor, roaming first floor is viable, but like having only one player detriment how many players have alive towards Siege is a big numbers game. Everyone all by his lonesome getting free fire, but Sophia gets knocked down to 50 HP. And the Capcan trap kill! Not taking the second to look around, sprinting right on through. Unfortunately, the finish line is imminent death. Fishwell with a beautiful C4 of Greasy. That's the buck down yet again. Now, that's a lot of utility down on the Sophia and the verticality potential on the buck. Interesting to see how much utility that they have on the side of Waukee left. You have some hard breach charges, so they could go for a hatch take. They had the IQ to spot those K claws, but without full vertical, they're gonna have a tough time, getting close of that P12 sidearm through the floor to actually get the K claws and that bandit off the wall.
They're going to have to change up their game plan here. There was originally supposed to be a main wall take with that buck to open up the vertical, like you were saying, but what kind of adaptation are they going to do to come up with this plan? And this is where on-the-fly thinking comes in handy. You got a minute left on the clock. What are we going to do to be able to secure this round in a 3v4 situation?
It looks like probably still have a thermite charge, if not two. It's interesting though that they're kind of just lurking around. They don't really have much drone presence on the map right now. Asking about this, that on the fly, as you mentioned, that requires gaining new intel. What kind of drones you have, utilizing your dead teammates to hold this drone for me while I walk in, flashing out, potentially going for a hat drop. Kind of concerning because he's making this solo play by himself without any of his teammates. He's gonna be applying split pressure going down through EXO. 36 left on the clock. They're gonna have to go for kills here. Does not get one. Pax with his first on the round. Going for the they
It's a
fake
fake.
it.
Does not win the gunfight though. Ying all alone in a 1v4 gets the
One.
first, but traded out immediately.
Pax with a couple of huge blows right there. Especially Ray My Aim supporting him back up with that shotgun through the rotate hole as well. He hopped over and just blasted that guy away.
Now that was a big important round for Marshalltown to bring back some momentum in it, keep this game close. They don't want it to get too far.
Now, it's interesting that they haven't. Neither team has used their timeouts in last map nor this map. It's interesting to see that most teams in this today have been using timeouts to stop that momentum, kill it right in its tracks. Strategy saying, hey, what are the issues? What operators should we bring to counter the issues we're engaging in? It's just homers, just not having a backup plan and having the utility in the items that
Defenders, protect your
go
bombs
through
from
with
being
either the
defused by
primary
attackers.
or alternatives packs because they didn't have much in terms of utility on that last round. Had a couple of kills, poke grenade, not going to be
Bomb
enough to
located
force
by attackers.
a really awkwardly. Going up back to the top floor, resetting the cycle of the sites. Exact same setup as they did on the first round on the side of Marshalltown. It'll be interesting to see how what changes they make on this attempt. I'm hoping that they potentially run more cross angle. The late round, playing it more passive. They're gonna stack ADSs on electrical. Good. Most of the push has been crafters. when Waukee won their round on the top floor.
Now they also did it with the Buck below, but obviously with Buck being banned out, this is gonna have to change a little bit of how they think about this. But that just leaves Greasy on the Deimos. And in past games, when he's allowed to hard track someone through a floor, it makes their life a lot more challenging.
And after my own heart, Deimos. Honestly, though, I'm kind of glad that you can actually play because most of the time when I play it once, it's end immediately. But interesting though, because most of the roamers have just been stopped early. It's Tyrone, but well, down by the cap can trap. They kind of got to slow it down and wait for them. Ooh. Or almost got a second pick if he did that rebound, but gets wall banged.
Just shooting through the wall. I don't think he had clear intention that he was going to be right there. Just trying to make a line of sight.
Yet again,
Wrong place, wrong time.
Yet again, kind of, because honestly, in the past games applied a lot of pressure on the roam, but down to that 4 people alive. It's his one, but we're back at parity.
4-4. But I mean, if any operator is going to die, the Capcan, who's already got all of his utility out on the board, probably the one that I would choose.
I agree, especially we'll have 2 nitros on the, which will honestly patch and drop down below come late round. That's gonna be a short kill for the enter. Or to honestly block off the doors. Use the ooh right though. I'm doing a blue and a Raptors push, but Ishwa on that drone hole with the shotgun. That'd be a very interesting kill to watch, but it's down.
Them in a pretty tough spot as the Aqua players are going to be able to breach on through, and Marshalltown doesn't have any really good way of dealing with this kind of push. They're just flooding on into sight now.
I think they're just going to be dumping utility. Think the Jaegers are all placed electrical. On, right to be dumped on. Slurpee gets his one on Joshua, finishing off that kill from earlier. Just trying to get the plant down, but he kind of hop off it. Player that's on the head holes. The aura of Thundy is beautiful triple from Apology.
Seems like every time we need this kind of kills, these kinds of plays, Apology is there with none of them for himself.
And Thundy with a great cross. If Apology would have gotten onto the bomb plant, would have had a perfect cross with his teammate to actually put off of him. Not make a 180 that quick under the. So a great attempt to get the plant down, but Apology just carrying his team on his back right now. I feel like he might have to take some pain pills. How hard his back's gonna.
Maybe an ice bath later today wouldn't do too much.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Moving on to round 4, we're gonna see a site we haven't seen yet, and that's gonna be the kitchen bomb site.
Though, because some of the teams have actually gone for the storage or storage, whatever it is, control site. Which is interesting because kitchen there's no part of the basement. You can only play above or on the first floor. While control and storage, you have a bit more. Play above with roamers like play downstairs with a pulse source.
10
Kitchen
seconds remaining.
have an awkward bomb site to play, but honestly, if it plays into your
5
strategy,
seconds
honestly,
left
I
before
don't blame
insertion.
bring it over that store.
Attackers are
I'm
moving
not
out to
playing, so
locate
I can't
bomb and
complain.
defuse it.
As we can see, the only 2 two of the defenders down on the main bomb site floor both have. So with the Valkyrie in play, with her Valk cams, it's going to add a lot of extra value, but looks like Waukee is going to do a basement up strategy for half of their team.
Yeah, which honestly though, with Doak be being a 3, super quiet when she's working around, especially with the phone calls and a really good in that SM. Yeah, really dominating lurk. Basement can be out the attack because they can have extra players, get a pick, rotate all the way around a cargo, and just gonna keep their heads on a swivel.
Now, Omar being pinched from 2 separate angles. He's got the one in electrical to worry about, and he's got Apology flanking him from another
He
side.
used to get his one first of the round on the Jix. Jix unfortunately on a 1-5. Actually, I think he got down by a Capcan trap. I don't know how many Capcan trap kills Tyrone's got today, but down count has honestly been tenfold.
Now with that phone call coming out, no, he's turning his back to the other player. He's got to know that he can't do that.
I'm going to try to double swing on him. The Ying flash should come out, but it's not affecting him. But he does get fully swung in. Slurpee playing immediately off of it. Hey, Apology, your star player right now. So that's huge because now it's a 5v3. There's 3 other players are low HP. All the rest of the players are on the bomb site, but you still have 2 nitro cells in pocket. So actually, one, unfortunately. But use that one last C4 to get a cheeky pick through the 4, especially when they have a sledge on the board. It has to be close to the 4. I'm predicting the future at this point.
Spoke it into existence. But minute left, that leaves plenty of time for Waukee to make something happen with this bomb site. They have some tools in their pocket. They have the thermite to open up some walls. They still have the smokes in their pocket to go for a plant, and they have the man advantage.
Have a decent amount of utility. We're with a second C4 from Pax. It looks like there might have been that second C4 after all. They might aim with one of his own on the Thundy. A beautiful round.
Just one after another after another. This 3-piece stack for Marshalltown saying, nah, we're holding the line.
Man, honestly, I don't know what the heck happened with that sledge. I'm apparently time traveler. I guess I'm just predicting the future now. But honestly, though, C4s to their advantage, not needing to take those engagements makes the things turn around for Marshalltown. Putting it to a 3-2 half. Honestly, even if they get 3, I have anybody right now. A lot different in comparison to how last map was not this round. Last round of the half.
Marshalltown deciding to go down to this bottom floor site. And we've seen this in the past, and it just seems that Waukee had a certain way of walking down the site and making something happen. But going into round 6 here, they're already starting to show those signs of life come back into them. And they are running double nitro cells again. They're running the Valkyrie for the intel on it. And now they're also bringing the Denari. Those little laser pointers all across the room. They kind of do damage when you walk into them. And it's kind of buzzing sound, and all of a sudden you can't run.
Honestly, I just call them the top. Possible. Like, Waukee's kind of might be doing like a rush strat. They have the glass, they have a thermite, and the yin yet again. A lot of smoke. If you look at the top left, they bring a lot of smoke on this push, which oh my or Jaeger. Or a Warden. Which in this game, if we've seen Warden being playing on this bomb site, like stop those smoke rushes. But so they could and run in covering with the smokes with the glass outside while the diffuser down.
Now, Omar realizing that he's being hunted. There's drones everywhere surrounding him. And just reading into the situation, you know, my life's kind of in danger. I'm going to get out of Dodge. Last line of defense here being these stairs, as he can get a nasty little head glitch. It's probably his best angle to try and take a fight, and he can't get pushed from other angles.
Yeah, especially up on the clock. That's really, really fast roam there. Because most roamers are tend to actually be out with like about 5 minutes stuff on the clock. That's kind of almost what they want to do. Waste half the round and then bomb site. Just play numbers.
And Jesua with that pre-placed nitro cell, he's waiting for Omar to give him the signal. The moment someone walks through this doorway, he's gonna go kaboom. Walking on out, and here it comes. 3, 2, 1, let's go!
Back-to-back rounds, we got C4's through the floor on the Valkyrie. That just shows how effective she is. You know, having the teammate on the cannon for you, and then you just press one button, get that phone call, and good night.
They need a way to deal with this electricity on the wall from Bandit, but it doesn't seem that they have any kind of answer, some kind of counter. They're just going to have to try and shoot through the floorboards to get those Bandit charges off so they can open this wall. Minute left. The clock is ticking. They're in man disadvantage.
Now, they do get the Bandits off. Nothing. Still one C4 left on the board from Pack. So potentially, they get the wall open, clever, and they get the trade. Now back to a 44. Grease on that glass with the headshot from that beautiful DMR.
But the nitro did not go out, and the diffuse is going down in the middle of smoke coverage. Apology all the way down the stairs.
It's a 4v3 on site. It's a 4v2 on site now because Mix is on the first floor trying to go for a roam, trying to go for a flank where nobody is. Greasy with a third on the glass on a Raymai aim. He's playing huge in this round right now. Greasy goes down. 3 versus 2. Pax and Jix all alone. And now Jix in storage all by him. It's lonesome. 25 seconds left on the clock. He has to get out of dodge, out of the first floor, get back to the site. On the pillar, he gets 1. He's going to have to find 2 more, but with 50 seconds left to go, he has to not take his full time.
Time
with
clicking
10 seconds
down.
left.
3, 2, 1.
It is all she wrote. Thundy putting Waukee on a 4-2 attack half on Labs.
Now we're going to go into the next swap where we get the next set of bans coming into play here.
Now, it'll be interesting to see Marshalltown on the offensive side of the ball. Because honestly, it seems like these maps are attacker favored, at least from what we've seen from Waukee. But honestly, the Labs kind of common map. We might see some really interesting strategy. Honestly, get it in the Deimos out, get it in the Mira. Honestly, the Deimos is kind of an interesting bring very often, at least from what I've seen. It'll be interesting to see how they play around.
The Deimos ban is out of respect. Knowing what Greasy can do with it and abusing it, they don't want it abused against themselves. They don't want to have to deal with that kind of nonsense.
Honestly, that's fair. Spinning out the Monty and the Azami as well.
Just saying, we don't want to deal with shields either. How about we just gentleman's handshake, no more Monties, okay?
Yeah, especially for the amount we've seen today.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Going to this top floor, we've seen it plenty, and we'll probably see it some more before the end of this map.
Now, it's interesting to note that on this map, like I mentioned in the first round, hard breach bans are usually the first ones to go, but no hard breach has been banned. Ace and Thermite both make it through the first ban wave. Even if they ban one hard breacher, still leaves Maverick, Bonnet, and Thermite up. Plus, they bring the Thatcher, which honestly, classic Thermite Thatcher combo. You throw the EMP ball, bada bing, bada boom. Your job was done. Now you just get to go
5 seconds to insertion.
and become a fragger essentially.
Attackers are moving to defuse
And
bombs.
moving into this, as a reminder, Marshalltown coming into this with the #1 seed, they were the favor to win this all. And Waukee showing a lot of their own personal skill set and seem to have a game plan going into place as to how they're going to shut down this force.
Yeah, especially because they had those 2 lower bracket rounds earlier. They've had like a 3-4 hour break since their first 2 rounds. Honestly, I'm wondering how the mentals are, how they're physically and mentally. Because they've been here for like 8, almost 9 hours today, and they played only maps. But a lot of these maps have come into overtime, which is mentally straining. Because if you win in overtime, it feels great. But if you lose, you're probably feeling pretty mad about yourself and what you could have done better. But honestly, though, it's really interesting to see both of these teams such grit make it to the grand final. Which whoever loses the game this series, they should have their heads held high that they are the best team right now.
#1 and #2, one way or another.
We're left on the clock. They do manage to open the wall with relative. Now, mentioning this, Waukee dropped the clash yet again. Seen this before in their match against Benton in the first round. They are really aggressive with the clash, but especially if Glurple goes down, Pax getting an opening kill.
That's a lot of map control now from the connector side, and they have all of IT control. They just need to start working this vertical side, and they could really start putting pressure down for a potential plant.
But that Warden and Jaeger combo, that's a really, really tough combo to actually put out, because you got the Jaeger, but burn any flashes, burn any frags. They do have Thatcher on the board, so they could potentially throw one against the wall and actually shut down both the Jaeger ADSs. Possibly. Kind of more towards a IT push. As 45 seconds left, Apology gets shut down by Tyrone. 3 remain for Waukee, putting it back to a 3 versus 4. Greasy 1 on his name. Yeshua. I apologize for that. I've been saying so much today, my mind can't even think straight. 25 seconds left on the board. 3v2 now. Waukee back on the positive side of the ball. 2 remain for Marshalltown. Pax and rate my aim, but he gets down with the shotgun. Potentially, that's his 3rd kill of this current round. Pax all by himself with a EP in front of him. But Clippy sweeping house with the last kill. Puts up 5-2, I believe, on the scoreboard for Waukee.
And they're really just kind of snowballing this effect. Reese really getting warmed up. It seems the more that he's playing, the longer it's going. And Apology has had some major rounds that have to be shut down.
I agree. And though Marshalltown has actually been more consistent across, not really high on the stars of their roster to win rounds. Like Waukee, don't get me wrong, they have been incredible, but plays which might not always work and have to work on this because the best teams often have very similar stat lines across all of their players.
Now that we're moving into this 8th round, Waukee only 2 away from taking home this championship. Let's see if anything new develops in play style to change up, or we could see the same game played over and just see who can play it better.
Looks like Deshwa picking up the ram. They have an ace in for my double harbor yet again. Interesting to see that on the base and bomb side because not much roam extension. Actually, there is, correct me, with the castle in the visual who's ratting himself away in the kitchen. Maybe he's a little hungry looking for a late night snack. We are getting pretty late out here.
But that roam game really doesn't do a whole lot if they go directly to site, as Pax has the wall open already. He's in position to even just start flooding in. If they have any information that site is open, they have man advantage, they just smoke off and go for plant now, they could have this round in the bag.
Look, it's down from Slurpee on the Solus. Now that is going to be important play right there. Because think Solus with the scanner, with the shotgun and impact, be a lot. Ooh, it's almost slicing the head off of Tyrone, but does manage to just time a little bit and look onto the vehicle. Doesn't know where the corners that he ran on. He finds them and he picks it up, putting it back into Waukee's favor, unfortunately, because Greasy gets one on Jix.
Max knows there's one through that doorway. He's just tempting it on out. They're opening the hatch on Exo here. They're trying to apply a little bit more pressure from more angles than one. Axe with the diffuser. With this last smoke is probably going to go for a plant. But does he have the cover from his team?
Solus is way up in IT. Go for a perfect flank on the storage player. Oh,
Plant going down.
Tyrone with that assault rifle in hand. Glurpy gets a massive 2-piece. One remains for Marshalltown.
Oh, just inches away, but he's close with the shotgun. Not a great position.
He swings out. It's going to be a battle of fire rate or... Oh,
Just not
eat
checking
my
the
words. Clippy with the shotgun yet again.
Clippy making clips here.
Put that in the montage.
Get the camera.
Bomb, get the camera.
6-2. We are 1 round away from crowning a new victor. Or is Marshalltown going to be the scrappy dogs taking this fight all the way?
If I'm gonna just say this. I've seen a team up on match point on this map, and they threw 6 rounds and lost. I'm of course mentioning the 2024 16. With one of the teams being up 6-1 and somehow losing the clinches of victory to their other opponents. One of the greatest grand finals. I'm wondering if Marshalltown, has the grit. They have so much potential. They have nothing to lose. Waukee have everything to lose. This is Marshalltown's time to pull up their big boy pants and get some round wins and go off with a bang.
Moving into this action phase part of the round here in just a moment. One thing I'd like to point out and note that is a little different is we have Apology on the pulse in the basement. This is a huge win condition for them because that pulse gadget can see them through the floors and has a nitro in pocket. So if they ever try and plant on this bomb site, he can see it and he can deal with it himself.
Yeah, now it's interesting that he's with the instead of the shotgun because there's so much verticality that Pulse can. Plus, he has that Reaper secondary SMG, but interesting decision. But honestly, if it works out for him, I have no room to talk about it. 2 minutes 30 left in the round. Joshua doing some drone work. They don't leave the basement, which is kind of a mistake here. Not clearing out the potential roam, but looks like Dix is going to go for an immediate take on the bomb site. Now, all they need is get the diffuser onto one of the desks. Then the C4s can't reach him, even if it's through a soft floor.
They have lots of vertical lined up and ready to go for this. They have this as an idea that could happen to them.
Well, they're using the smokes. They bait out a C4. Looks like one goes down from above, but does not connect on the cargo stairs. If he just waits a little bit, with some patience, with some trigger discipline, very, very big impact on this potential last round. Sees the shoulder, misses.
Gives away his position now.
When he retreats down to the basement, his heartbeat sent. Not packed from above, gets chopped down by the Soul Stop Glurpy. They have possession of the diffuser. They have to walk in. 5v3, Glurpy with one of his own. My aim goes down. It's now technically a 5v2.
This is for everything on the line. It's a 2v5. Marshalltown has to pull it together right here, right now. Omar and Jix.
Waukee with all 5 standing strong. Against 2. 2 against the world. It is 6-2 with a minute left to go in the round. Omar and Jix have to play huge for their team. It's a 5v1. Flippy with the second kill of the round. Jix all alone upstairs with the Blackbeard. No diffuser in hand. They're potentially going to play aggressive, but not looking through the vertical, not looking through the feed holes. Does not do much damage though through that soft wall. 40 seconds left to go. Taking some damage. Getting naded. And Clippy with the flawless round. And
I mean, that's your national champions
Waukee
right there.
are your state champions for 2025 in Rainbow Six Siege, winning 7-2 here on Night Haven Labs. Congratulations to your new world state champions in Rainbow Six Siege.
I mean, what a great performance by Waukee. They came in, they kept it close in the beginning, and the more they kept going, the more that their brains started turning. They just closed it out every little bit. They were like an anaconda wrapping around Marshalltown, squeezing the life from them. Congratulations, honestly. A great performance today. Thank you for everyone coming out.
But props to Marshalltown. They went undefeated in their season, and they've gone through so much grit. They had to play Iowa Falls all in the regular season, keep their their lossless streak alive, to keep their winning streak alive. And they've managed to do it in a very tight best-of-3. But honestly, even though they lost this grand final, they should keep their heads held high, knowing that they are one of the greatest teams to ever play this game in the state of Iowa. And honestly, I'm excited for next year already. Because a lot of these players are going to be returning. A couple are going to be graduating, which, honestly, even for them, they should be proud of what them and their team have accomplished.
But I want to give a huge shout out for all our sponsors that make this event possible. Mechdyne for setting up a lot of these PCs equipment for Iowa State Finals, just hosting it here at MCC and giving us